Hi, everybody. It is Kendell Lenice, and welcome to Kendell Lenice Live right here on YouTube. Before we get started with this outstanding show, I need you to do me a favor and subscribe below. Don't be stingy. Subscribe and share with your friends and family. Tell them about Kendell Lenice Live. Don't forget to check out all the past amazing shows with the Safety Net with Kendell Lenice, as well as the live interview series. So I'm pleased today, as always, to have an amazing guest with me. I have Sheniqua Johnson. She is an RN. Before I introduce her to you all, I am going to read her fascinating bio. As I was telling her, I was looking at the bio and I said, well, what part should I leave out so I can just get on with the show? But it's such an amazing bio, I wanted to read it all. All right. So Sheniqua Johnson is an RN. She's an internationally known motivational speaker and best-selling author. She is the acclaimed author of I Didn't Know My Own Strength, How My Faith Moved My Mountains, I Didn't Know My Own Strength journal. She has a MAP, Motivation of Affirmation and Prayer. It's a journal to a purpose-filled life. There's an angel in heaven that calls me auntie. I love that. Finding strength through loss, living, and legacy. She also has I Am My Business, quick tips for women on the go so that you can keep going. It's all about keep going. Creating a social media presence. And she also is the co-author of 4 books as well. I'm not finished. She is the CEO and the publishing executive at Stronger Through Faith Publishing Company, where she helps writers reach their literary goals. She is also the owner of Love, Live, Legacy, Inc., her nonprofit organization, where she helps the community in love, teaching them to live and empowers them to create and build a lasting legacy. She is the host of Sisterly Sundays with Sheniqua, where she delivers you a dose of motivation and encouragement to get you through the week. We all need that, right? In addition to being a serial entrepreneur, Sheniqua is also a RN facilitator, where she emphasizes health and healing in her trainings, having taught and trained 900 health coaches. With all that, she still manages to find time to love on and lead her 2 teenage sons. Girl, are you tired? Welcome, Sheniqua Johnson, to Kendell Lenice Live. Welcome, Sheniqua.
Thank you so much for having me. Man, I'm telling you, it is just so mind-blowing to hear all of your own accomplishments. And I think sometimes we do need to write it down so that we can read it out and we can hear it. And that will definitely give us the power to keep going, to keep pushing. And so hearing that really makes me feel good. It makes me feel blessed to know that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, you know, and I'm really living my life on purpose. And is it easy? Heck no. Am I tired? All the time, you know, but we still have to live. We still have to do it. So it is my esteemed honor to be here with you and to be here before your guests. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
You are so welcome, and it's an honor to have you here on Kendell Lenice Live on YouTube. Subscribe below. All right, so as I read your bio, we have so many different things in common. You're all about motivation. You know, I don't know if you know, but I go by the name of Lady Motivator. It's important for me to empower other women and people in general, and just so many things. But what you might not know, or I don't know if I told you this online, you know what I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah.
I'm starting my own publishing company too. And I know I said I'm going to pick your brain.
Yes, that's right.
But yes, for sure. So, but I love that because even with my accomplishments, I still never owned a publishing company. Mm-hmm. So it's important for me. I'm all about mentorship and having mentees, and you can have those at any age. And I think it's so important to and not so much pick the brain, but just have conversations for us to help one another get to certain points in life. If we've achieved something and we accomplished, our goal, I think it's so important to reach back. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Sheniqua?
Definitely, it's important. I always feel like, when you sit around a table with people who are striving to live their life on purpose, who are working on building a lasting legacy, I think the conversation is really just going to be different. So the fact that, we share those similarities, it's a good thing, because then again, the conversation is going to sound different. The conversation is going to be about impacting others, and how do we leave this legacy, and how do we build, and how do we create, and how do we network and connect. So the conversation is definitely going to be different. And of course, every time you take a step up, you always have to reach back and bring someone else up with you. That's just the nature of things. If you want to go further, the way to go further is to give back, to give, and to serve other people. So if I reach my hand and help somebody else get to where I'm at, then that paves the way for me to take that next step. So we just have to make sure that when we are living our truth, that we have to just walk in it and not be afraid. Everybody is so afraid of competition, and they're so afraid that somebody's going to get further ahead than them. No, you contribute what you can contribute from your level, and you can't take someone, and you mentioned about mentoring. As a mentor, as a coach, I can only take people from my level of experience, my level of ability. I'm not afraid to say, okay, this is the end of the line. This is as far as I can take you. Now you need to find someone else who can take you a step further. This is life. We're not standing at a bus stop. Like, we are getting on the bus. We are moving. Right? This is something that is constantly moving. So if we have to switch tables, we got to, change our chairs around, we got to do something a little different, then there's no offense, there's no hard feelings. It's like, listen, like, there's no need for me to hold in all of the knowledge and wisdom that I've been blessed with. That's almost like a sin in itself, for me to hold on to that knowledge. So I have to open my mouth, and that's what I do when I write. When I get all of this inspiration, I gotta put it somewhere. I can't just walk around with it in my head, because then I'll be all bobble-headed going around the place. No, you gotta open your mouth, and you can't be afraid to help people, or at least shine a light so that they can see their way out of their darkness. So that's right. You have to mentor. You got to give back. It's just the way of life.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that, because I feel the exact same way. We have to, as a people, we really have to change that. As far as that crabs in a barrel, I don't want this person to get, above me and whatever career, because so then I'll just keep them down here. I'll only give them just a little bit of information. I'll help them maybe just a little, just to make myself feel good. But you really don't want the best for that person as far as seeing each other rise. But I always say we are all stars and we can shine together. I think it's so important to really drive that point home. So I'm glad that you said what you said. And also you talked about training 900 or so coaches, health coaches. So tell me about that, because that's huge.
That is huge. And when I started the project, I had no idea. This was actually the start of me working in education. I had went to school and I got my master's degree in nursing education, nursing and healthcare education. And it was just in my heart to do something more. I had worked in the hospitals. I was doing home care at the time. So I wanted to transition in my life to take those necessary steps to go higher. So I had just gotten my degree, and this job just kind of fell on my lap, as I can say. It just literally just popped right out of nowhere. And I took this job where I was training home health aides to become health coaches. So I helped to spearhead and put together this wonderful, amazing program where I was able to train over 900. In fact, I think my number was 947.
Wow.
So every week I was bringing in a new group of people, and it was so much more than a training. Let me just say that it was so much more than a training. It was an awakening, not only for myself as an educator, like I started to grow as an educator, I also grew in my platform as a speaker. My students would come into my trainings and they would speak life into me. And as I poured out to them, they received it so well because they had been in an environment where people didn't always look to them for knowledge. People didn't always look to them or accept them as being equal. So when they came into my classroom, we were all on the same page. It wasn't me as the instructor up here and then down here. No, we were equal. We were in this thing together. And so much learning took place and really empowering people. And a majority of those students who left that training class, they are my mentees now. Like they still sit up underneath me. And, I'm able to impart my knowledge and my wisdom about business, about becoming a nurse, about just about any and everything that I know. Like they're able to sit and glean, and I love on them and I pour. Like, so if you give me an opportunity, I'm just gonna keep pouring, and I pour to my end, So that was just really an amazing experience. And when I said yes to the position, I had no clue as to where it was going to take my career, where it was going to take me as a human being. So that was probably one of the best time frames in my life. I have to really admit that.
So let's talk about before that transition, before you became a facilitator and a health coach. You went to school, as you said, you have your master's, you are a nurse, you are a registered nurse. So you were on the floor at one point, you were working with patients?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I want to talk about, because I definitely during this time in our world, I can't even say in our country, in our world, facing this pandemic, the coronavirus, I just want to just pause for a moment and give honor and blessings to the families who have lost someone during this time due to coronavirus. And I just really want to encourage everyone to be safe out there, wear your mask, wear your gloves, follow the instructions. Social distancing is crucial. So many people, over, the holiday weekend, so many people were out and about like it was regular life. And it made me sad because a lot of them were people of color. A lot of Black folks were out there getting haircuts and nails done and getting their weaves done and on the beach and at the party and at the kickbacks and all of that. And really, it was really disheartening because people aren't taking this seriously. So when you think about, and also before I finish, before I even go into what I want to ask Sheniqua, I just want to just take my hat off, figuratively, to the healthcare workers. That are going to work every day, that are almost jeopardizing their lives to help other lives. You know what? I sincerely thank you. And I thank you for the rest of the viewers for going to work every day. I have a good girlfriend of mine. She worked 45 days straight in the hospital, no days off, hour after hour after hour, to make sure others were okay. And that's big. So for you, Sheniqua, going into a profession like that, where you pledge to, take care of people, I think that's so important. Of course, it's more than that as a nurse, but when you pledge to take care of people and to be there for people in that professional manner, what is that like when you're deciding to go to school and you say, you know what, I want to be a nurse? What does that mean to you?
Well, what it meant to me was, it just was me fulfilling that need to help people. You know when you are called to be in. Like there's callings for different things in life. That's why people go into different areas or different professions.
See, I think some people answer the wrong call though.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes they get it twisted.
Right, because some people's bedside manner, I'm like, really? Like you
Yeah.
really wanted to be a nurse?
No, some people do get they answer the wrong phone call.
Right.
Yeah, they get the wrong call.
Right.
But ideally, it is something that it's always been in my heart to help people from when I was younger. So when I went into nursing school, it was just a fulfillment of what was in my heart. Like I genuinely love to help people. So when we become nurses, that's our ultimate goal. That's our ultimate goal, is ideally to get in there and to help the best way we can. And it's really patient-centered. Yes, we work alongside different disciplines. We're working with the doctors and, all the other different professions, but we're really the ones who are at the bedside, the ones who are really the advocate for the patients, to make sure that they're advocating for themselves, for their health, for their improvement of their condition. So it is very, very disheartening. I just want to put it out there. It is very disheartening to see people out there, not practicing social distancing. They're taking this as a joke, where you have people who are in there working and they're afraid to go home because they don't want to bring whatever they've been exposed to their families. So there are mothers who haven't been around their children. And I saw a video of a father who's, as soon as he came through the door, his young kids wanted to hug on him and they had to push the young kids back. And it's like, what type of scars are we leaving on our families, all for the sake of somebody to get their hair done?
Wow.
Now listen, I like to get my hair done too. I love my nail stylist. I love to get my nails done, but not at the risk of other people.
That's right.
We have to stop thinking on it's really selfish. And I said it. It's selfish to say, I'm going to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, whether we open or close. Because even with things being closed, people were still finding ways to get haircuts and nails done and all of this stuff. So it's like,
what somebody told my brother? You know what somebody told my brother? My brother, he, a barber. His barber called him and said, hey, do you want to come get your hair cut? I'm just doing the clean people. I'm going to do just the clean. See, people got it twisted. It's like, how do you know? That's just like a guy saying, oh, she's pretty. She doesn't have any.
Yeah, she's clean.
Right, she's clean.
Yeah.
Like my brother was like, no, I'm good. I'll just keep shaving it until it's time to come back. But then I saw a lady on Tamarind Hall, her husband, they had just been married, I believe, a week. And he went to get a haircut during this time. 2 days later, he died. So this is real. I just posted, one of my Facebook friends just lost her husband to Corona. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Yeah. Has this affected your family personally? I know as a nurse, you have compassion, but has it touched your family?
It has not touched my family, thank God, by the grace of God. It has not affected us in that caliber, but it has changed our lifestyle. My parents, they're, of course, up in age, and my mother was literally in the house for 2 months. 2 months straight in the house. So she wasn't going outside for nothing. And what it was creating a level of fear. So when you stay in the house and you want to practice the social distancing, sometimes you're watching the news. Sometimes it can cause you to have this distorted vision of reality. So what I ended up doing was I said, you know what? You've got your gloves, you got your mask. You're going to come downstairs. You're going to jump in my car. And I clean my house like I was, how when you're having a newborn baby coming over to the house and you stand inside and the Lysol that you got back there, right? I clean the house so well, but it's okay for us to get out. It's okay for us to get fresh air, but there is a way in which we should do it. My oldest son, he likes to go outside. He's 17. He loves to go outside. I don't stop him. I just say, you remember your mask? You remember your mask, you got ID. Those are the things. You got your mask, you got your ID. And I tell him, don't go in no stores. There's no need for you to go to any stores because you don't need nothing. If you need food, I got to get you food. So you can go out, you can walk the community, you can get fresh air, you can get your stretch, you can do that. Nobody's saying that you can't do it. What we're saying is don't be around people. Don't be that close to other people. You know, and we all love barbecues. I love a good barbecue, nice good chow or something like that, but not yet. I love to travel, but not yet. Like,
that's right.
I getting my hair done. I'm all Afro puff now. It's okay, because when it gets out of control, I'll put a scarf on it. I'll throw a cap on it. Whatever I want to do, I can do it. But I can do it safely, and it's not sacrificing someone else's livelihood. I'm not saying that I love to be so beautiful and so glamorous that I would put other people in jeopardy. I don't even like going to the grocery store, but I do it. But I put my mask on, I keep that cart in front of me, making sure they get that social distance, and then I come home. I'm not in the supermarket every day. I'm not out around people every day. So there has to be a level of balance. Just because we're on social distance, we're on quarantine, doesn't mean you don't get a chance to see your loved ones. You can still engage with your loved ones. Zoom is great. You can have, virtual calls, or you can do drive-bys and stand a distance and talk to each other. Like, you can do these things.
That's right.
Or like how I do. I put my mask on, and I read up when I saw my father. I hadn't seen my father for a couple of months. Man, I put my mask on, he had his mask on, and when I saw him, I gave him the biggest hug ever. And you know what? I knew when he was going upstairs, he was going to take off his street clothes, and when I got home, I was going to take off my street clothes and get in the shower like I normally do. So it was okay. Yeah. So we don't want to dehumanize the situation, but we want to be wise about the things and the places that we're going. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And tell the people what state you're in.
New York. So New York had the highest levels. So it was real up in these streets. And to me, it's still real. Like, I remember there was one day, because you're watching the news segments, and one day the death toll was like 900 some odd people.
My God.
And as a nurse, I'm sitting there, I'm like, and nobody finds this to be a problem. Because to me, as a registered nurse, I've never heard that 900 plus people died in one day. Now, that doesn't say that that's never happened. I don't know the statistical data behind it. But what I am saying is that is a lot of people who died. And whether you want to call this a hoax, whether you want to call this the media is blowing this out of proportion, I don't know what it is. But it claimed the lives of 900 plus people. And that alone was enough to knock some sense into me. I don't have to have it come into my house. I don't have to have my loved ones affected by it in order to respect it, in order to abide by the rules. I don't need this to happen to me or to mine, right? So when you hear about it happening to other people, you want to then put forth the measures so that it never comes to your door.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you one thing, death is not a pretty thing. And death is also not a pretty thing when you have to do a virtual funeral. Death is also not a pretty thing when your loved one is sitting up in the ICU on a ventilator by themselves, because they're not allowing family to go in there. You're not allowed to sit and hover and take residence in the waiting areas like we used to do back in the days. So we've got to make sure that we do the right thing, whether we think people are blowing it out of proportion or not. It's okay. It doesn't hurt me to wear a mask.
Right.
It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me.
Right. And that's the point that I want to stress, and I often talk about this even on social media, is that when your loved one contracts corona or whatever disease that they're contracting, the autoimmune system, a lot of people with lower immune systems are contracting pneumonia, and then unfortunately a lot of them are getting corona when they already have pneumonia. So whatever they're going in the hospital for at this time, you're not going with them. You can't go visit them. You can't go see them. Like Sheniqua said, you can't sit in waiting rooms like we used to do, waiting for that loved one. You have to go home or go into your car. So these people are dying by themselves. They're having virtual funerals. And all of these, not only just regular folks and celebrities, but, you know, think about the lives that these people have lived and all the people that they've helped or all the people that they've touched. And 3 people can come to the funeral. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that it's so sad on so many different levels, but this thing is real. And if we can't stress anything enough today, we can stress that this is real. You can play with corona if you want to, but this is real. And even if you don't care about yourself, care about other folks, because you don't know if you're asymptomatic. You might be fine, but you might have the trait to pass this thing along to someone. And that's not something that you want to give to your loved ones or even someone else's loved one. So really, 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 it's important to just be mindful and be safe and follow the rules. We don't need any renegades out here saying this is fake and this is a hoax. It's real. And as Sheniqua said, as an RN, just having that background in the hospitals and with patients, she's seen firsthand what someone looks like when they're passing away. You know, what the family, typically the family is there and now they're no longer there, able to be there. So as a New Yorker, and like you said, the toll and the number was high. What's it like in New York? What is the feel of the land in New York? And what part of New York are you in?
In the city, so the city that never sleeps. It's true.
It's sleep. It's sleep now. It's sleep.
It was very, very drastic. I want to say in March when it all first started to kind of unwind, you really did see a difference. You didn't see a lot of cars on the street. You didn't see a lot of people. People were scared and they didn't know if it was airborne. They didn't know, you know, where this stuff was coming from. So people
You're breaking up a little bit. It's this virtual world. You're breaking up.
Yeah,
so something changed. But go ahead. Okay. I just want to stay here.
So I was just saying that, you know, everything was very, very slow in the beginning. And then the weather changed. So you know, you already know when that degree goes up a few notches. Yeah. So people are starting to come out. People are moving about a bit more than say they were in March. So this is going to be interesting when they start to project the second wave that they believe is coming up. It's going to be really interesting to see because people have started getting their sea legs, they're getting their confidence, and they are starting to move about more. And we're in the process of, you know, doing this phasing where things are going to start opening within this week. So this is going to be really, really interesting. But one thing that I have to say to people is this: just because it's opening doesn't mean you have to go. It doesn't.
Come on, say that again.
Yes, just because
say that
open. Yeah, just because it's open does not mean you have to go. So when they start opening up the movies and the bars and the clubs and, the parks, when they start opening these items up, we have to use wisdom.
Yeah.
We have to use wisdom. And I always say God gives us free will. So you can go, but are you going to have enough wisdom to say, you know what? My health, the health of my loved ones is not worth me getting a drink at the bar.
That's right.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. especially when you can go to the liquor store and you can buy a drink. So it's not worth it. You gotta have some rationale behind it. You know, you gotta play it safe.
That's right.
Does
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's from an RN. She's experienced this. You know, she has coached several healthcare professionals. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about
the nurses that are in the hospital. I've taught them, the ones that are in the hospital. I worked for years as a college professor. So I've trained them. So the nerve of you to have me training people to put their lives on, that's not what I train them. I don't train them to put their lives on the line.
Right.
I train them to help people.
Right.
And so now you're making them choose between their own livelihood and helping people. So
yeah,
we gotta think about this.
Yeah.
Let's not make them work harder than they have to.
Yeah, and I hear the passion in your voice because, like you said, you've trained them. You've been there on the front lines. And I don't know if you're just tuning in, but you need to play it back. Sheniqua said that some of the healthcare professionals don't even go home because they don't want to infect their families. And you have parents not seeing children and children not seeing parents, and you're not connecting to your loved ones because they are at the hospital taking care of some of you who really aren't taking care of yourselves and being cautious and out at the club and out at this. As they said in Missouri, what was it? 190 people went to this one hair salon, and now like 190 people contracted corona because they want. So I guess they want to look good in the hospital or possibly a casket. That makes no sense.
How about that?
You know, trying to get cute to sit on a couch. Hopefully you're sitting on a couch, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Love, Live, and Legacy. Tell me about that organization that you started.
So that is my nonprofit organization. I started that organization in honor of my niece, Sheniqua. That was the book, There's an Angel in Heaven That Calls Me Auntie. That was my book. That was a tribute to her. My niece was shot and killed at the tender age of 24, and it shook my life to pieces. And I wanted to do something with the grief that I was feeling, because she was really like my daughter. She was, you know, the niece that I've always wanted. She was my namesake. So when this tragedy struck my family, I had so much pent up emotion. And grief was really.
What year was this?
This was in 2018. So it's been, we're getting ready to go into our second year of her death. So 2 years ago, when this happened, I needed to put this energy somewhere, because if I didn't, I was going to self-implode. I was going to break out. I probably would have ended up in somebody's institution. Because I was so full of anger. I was so full of hurt. I was so being pulled down by depression. So there were so many emotions.
I understand.
So the first thing that God allowed me to do was to pen. So I am that person that when I get emotional, when I get a pen in my hand, boom, I can go with it. So that's where I wrote the book, There's an Angel in Heaven That Calls Me Auntie. And I actually made her my co-author, since I was telling a side of her story. So from there, when I released that was a tribute to her. That did so much to me, because I'm like, wow, like even though that bullet, you know, thought it was going to stop her life, like my girl is still living, because if you type her name in Amazon, boom, she comes up. So what I was doing was I was creating a lasting legacy. And I was saying to her, I was saying to everyone in the family that her life does not stop. It keeps going. But we have to find positive ways to keep it going. So that's when the brain started churning more. And that's when I started Love, Live, Legacy. Because I want the community to feel loved. I want them to, because I think that's part of the problem. People are so able to hurt other people because they don't feel love. They don't know what love looks like. So I wanted an organization that can love on the community, that can teach people the importance of living. Living means taking care of yourself, your physical, your mental, your spiritual wellness, right? Like all overall. And then teaching them about building a legacy. It's nice to throw a party to celebrate and honor your loved one, but if you put something in the foundation of the earth, so no matter who goes where, you know, still her legacy still lives on. So I created this nonprofit organization.
That's an amazing tribute. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. So her story carries on.
Yeah.
Her story she keeps living.
Yeah. And I can relate to that because I had a cousin who was like my sister, who was killed many years ago in 1988. I was 17 and she was 19. And recently, in recent years, I've done a women's conference in her honor. You know, so I think it's so important to just keep them alive and keep their legacy alive. You know, that makes me sentimental that you did that for your niece. And I too was angry, upset, sad, mad, all of those emotions. You know, so I think it's important to channel those emotions in the right direction. And I think that that's amazing that you're doing that. So any way that I can be a part of that at any time, I would love to. That's very, you know, I appreciate you for doing that. And I don't even know your niece, but I think it's so important to continue that legacy and to honor her in that fashion. I think that that's amazing. All right, so Sisterly Sunday.
Absolutely. And so what I do is, with this organization, what I do is, like, for all my book sales, so all the sales of There's an Angel in Heaven goes to this fund. And what I do is I bless other nonprofit organizations in the community, because that is something that my niece wanted to do. She wanted to feed the homeless. I actually had connected her with one nonprofit organization, A Stairway to Hope, and she loved the experience. So she would come to me and say, "Oh, Auntie, we should collect toiletries and give it out to, you know, the homeless women." And I said, "That's a good idea." I was like, "Go do that. Like, and I will follow your lead. I will support you." But unfortunately, she never got a chance to bring her idea to fruition. So I picked up the light and I carried it forth. So now all of the donations that I get goes to these other nonprofit organizations. So I'm able to be a blessing where it is that, you know, if she was still living, she would have been able to go out and do these community service acts. So now I'm just blessing other nonprofits to do, that's doing the work that she would have wanted to do. So it's a great way to channel those emotions.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to do that, to channel those emotions in a positive direction, still by honoring her and paying tribute to her and creating that legacy for her, and her name will always be spoken. I think that that's awesome. All right, so Sisterly Sundays. Let's talk Sisterly Sundays. What's going down on Sundays?
So Sisterly Sunday. So every Sunday at 7:30 p.m., I am jumping on my Facebook Live and I'm bringing doses of motivation and encouragement to get people through their week. Because we know once Monday hits, Monday comes in like a wildfire. We don't know what's going on with Mondays, and we can get beaten, pushed all over the place for the week. But when you command the environment, when you command your focus and your energy on a Sunday to say, this is what I'm going to focus on, I'm going to stay motivated, you now have the tools to get through your week. So that's what Sisterly Sundays with Sheniqua is all about. And I do upload those videos from my Facebook Lives. I upload them onto my YouTube channel, Sisterly Sundays with Sheniqua, so that people can get that dose of motivation. They can get that encouragement to just keep going with all of this negativity in the world, with grief and death, and you can't even take a jog safely. Like, with all of this trauma that's going on in today's society, we need to stay guarded up. And when I say guarded up, I mean our mental. We got to put an extra coat, an extra layering on our mental health, because it's not normal to watch these things, to see death on your timeline.
This PTSD is real.
We play games. It is serious. Once upon a time on Facebook, you used to be playing those silly games. Now you're literally seeing people losing their lives.
That's real.
So we've got to be guarded up, because you're correct. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is real.
It's real.
And we are all being shut in. That we have to stay inside. There are new rules and regulations that we have to follow in order to maintain our safety. That is a stressor on us. Whether you feel stressed, because my mom was saying, oh, I've been in the house all this time, I don't feel no different. But something goes on to your mental. So there is something that is shifting and changing. It is not natural.
Even when you go to the store. I had to go to Walmart earlier. And it's almost like you have to say, okay, this is what I need to do. You know, let me calm myself. Let me put my mask on, put my gloves on. Let me pray. Let me breathe. Like, it really is a ritual. When you're going in, you're like, let me move. You know, you don't want to be near people, because I social distance. I had to go to the post office as well. And it was so packed in there. You had to find your way to social distance. And I think some people don't care. Like, they'll go right past you to go grab something. And I'm like, you know, my husband laughed at me. He said, because you almost a disrespectful.
You doing it there.
You know, I'm like, back up. You know, don't. Because you just don't know where someone's been. You don't know who they've been around. You know, I'm protecting you as well as protecting myself. So it's not even just protecting me, but I'm protecting you from me, and I would like you to do the same. But so many people, you know, I'm seeing more masks now, but the social distancing, I think even after this is over, we need to keep that part.
I like that part. I like that because I'm a germophobic too, so I like that part.
Right. So that's the part that I'm gonna keep, because I felt that way anyway. If I'm at the register, I don't need you breathing on my neck. I don't need to smell what you had for lunch while I'm trying to make my transaction. But you know, some people just don't have that. It's social distance is almost personal space. You know, that's really. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, I should know.
It's universal precautions. It's the stuff that we should have been doing from the jump start. We should have been washing our hands for 20 seconds for the jump start, right? We should have been doing that. Right? We should have been using hand sanitizer when we're going in and out of stores. You know, we should have been keeping that safe distance. We
Why was bleach
from work when we're not feeling good? You know,
and if people were, and if people were doing that and taking those precautions before, we wouldn't have run out of Lysol wipes and Lysol and bleach. So that shows you right there that people weren't doing it, because we would have been selling out every week if that was the case, you know? So I think, you know, if nothing more, you know, just stay prayed up, stay safe, and really take the proper precautions. We can't stress that enough. We can't. So you said that you were a part of, not only do you have your own books, but you were part of 4 compilation books. And prior to us starting, I told Sheniqua I'm going to have a panel of all African American or Black, whatever you like to refer yourself as, a panel of Black publishers, because I think it's so very important to publish our own stories and tell our own stories. Can you tell me about some of the compilations you've been a part of?
The collaborative book projects that I've been a part of was, first of all, it's an easy way to tell your story without having to pen a whole entire book. So it's a nice alternative for people who want to become authors, but they're a little bit apprehensive about taking that leap of faith. So in these collaborative books, it was a way for me to just write a chapter and to tell my individualized stories. And some of the books that I've written have gone across the globe. So one of the books, Women Inspiring Nations, was with Cheryl Wood. That book has been in Africa. That book is in Jamaica. That book is all across the globe. Why? Because when you're telling a collective story, it's not just my people who are reading the story. It's other people, other authors, their friends, their families, their network are reading the book. So your story now gets told on a different playing field almost. So it is a powerful resource to be able to connect with other authors, to tell your story, and to be able to shape and impact the world in such a great way. So I'm all for. The last book project I did was a Sisters in Arms book project, and I was actually the publisher on that book project. And I actually collaborated all the authors together and put forth their stories. And it's an amazing, amazing stories and about strength, about how we still shine, in spite of the world throwing dirt on us. And then here comes this COVID-19 and stopped all of our plans. We were actually supposed to be in Jamaica this week for the book fair. Wow. We have every year in Jamaica. So we were supposed to be out there. And I'm just like, ooh, you COVID.
Rona came in. Rona stepped in the room.
Yeah. We had a battle Rona, but you know what? Rona is not gonna last forever. And I always believe everything in due season. So when it is time and really time, we're gonna be able to take off and go forward with that. So the collaborative books are great. So I can't wait to sit on the panel to just share with people the importance of telling their story, because it really is. Absolutely. It's about legacy. It's a legacy.
Yes. No? And I think legacy is so important. And I had another publisher come on as well, and we spoke about legacy because I think it's so important. What I also think is important as we wind down is health and healing. And you have workshops about health and healing, or trainings about health and healing. And as a transformational life coach, speaker and author myself, I always talk about healing. I think healing is so very important to move on with the natural pace of your life. Can you just talk briefly about your health and healing trainings and what that consists of?
Okay, so I am big on total body, mind, body, soul. And my last well, no, it's not my last book. The second to the last book that I wrote.
That's when she has so many books. She's like, wait a minute, my last book. Oh no, the third to last, the sixth to last. No, because that's when you know she is a writer, honey, and she has a publishing company. She can push them out. She's like, no, not that one. It's another book.
Yes. So I crank them out. As I get them, when I get the inspiration, I don't hold it in. I release it. So the next wave of inspiration comes in. But one of the books I penned was entitled, I Am My Business. So it was about giving women, especially women, because we do so much, we multitask so much. I wanted to give women an opportunity to improve their health. So I talked about what you can do for your mind. Like, I gave practical tips. I didn't just say, oh, you should improve your health, girlfriend. No, I said, here's what you can do. Use essential oils. We don't always need to get all this medication in our system. Use natural remedies to support and to hold us up throughout the day. So vitamin B12, natural energy booster, so that you can get your energy, that you can, take care of your business. And that's what I say, taking care of business. And by business, I mean the business of me. So my business is me. Your business is you, and you've got to have the right tools. How do you how do you think you're going to fight COVID if you put in Oreos and chips down your throat? No, you need natural immune boosters. You need extra vitamin C in your diet. You need things that are going to promote wellness. So, oh yes, sugar oranges, I love it. So you gotta get natural stuff, right? Ginger tea. This is stuff that we can afford.
That's right.
So people always say that taking care of you is always expensive. I get it, but oranges aren't expensive. Well, nowadays they are, but they're not that expensive, right?
And I'm not doing a promo. I mean, I don't have all my stuff here. I just happen to have this here. But this big old bottle was only $5.99.
Come on.
$5.99 at Trader Joe. See, that's a miss. I'm not going to do a Trader Joe commercial unless they're going to sponsor this.
I know that's right.
It's not as expensive as you may think to eat right, and that's a myth. And we have to break that myth right now, because it's not expensive to eat healthy. No. It's not. No. It's not.
I buy my salad from BJ's. I get a big thing of salad. I eat off it for the whole entire week. Yeah. So there are small changes that you can make to improve your body. And when you feed your physical the right fuel, your mental is going to be clearer. You're going to be able to live life on purpose. So when you feed your body, when you feed your body the right stuff, you give it the fuel. You're not going to put mud in your car and expect your car to go. No, you got to give it the right fuel. So when you feed your body the good, healthy nutrients, then your body is going to go faster. It's going to be stronger. And your mind, your mental clarity is going to be improved. That's when you're going to have those ideas. That's when you're going to start walking in your purpose, because now you're getting that's how my books come. My books come and I'm like, oh, okay. And I just start writing. Why? Yeah. Because I have mental clarity, and I can't do that when I'm bogged down. And I know that when I eat right, everything else falls into line. So if you want to stay healthy during this season, make a lifestyle change. So we're asking people to social distance, but I'm also asking you to get out and go walking. I'm also asking you to not eat unhealthy food and make healthier options. I guarantee I don't even start my day with coffee. I start my day with tea, and I get the same energy. I get the same, funk that I get from a cup of coffee, and I'm doing it naturally. White sugar has been the death of me.
Everything white, white flour, white bread, white sugar. It's unhealthy for you.
Yes,
absolutely. We can do a whole show.
Yes,
I have to have you come back to do a whole show on eating for fuel and clarity, and eating to live. I'm putting you on the spot. You definitely got to come back to do that.
Yes, I rise to a challenge, honey. Never back away from a challenge. So I'd be honored. Absolutely, I'd be honored. But I know how helpful it is. So I'd be honored.
It really is. And thank you so much, because it's really all about, my channel is about education, elevation, and entertaining. So we can laugh together, but I want to educate you with my guests. I want to elevate you as a person, because I think it's so important. So those are the 3 goals on each show. Anything that I do, those are the goals. And like Sheniqua said, I either wake up and I juice, or I wake up and I have tea, or vice versa. One day I might have tea, or I might have the juice, then the tea, then the tea, then the juice. But I never eat anything. That's how I start my day. And she's right, depending on what kind of tea, with the probiotics, green teas. I mean, everything. It's so important to do what works for you. Lemon, ginger tea. You can just boil some water. Exactly. You can boil some water, put some cinnamon in there, some lemon in there, some honey. That's good for your digestive system.
That's my drink right there.
Mine too. So yes, we're running out of time now, but let's do a show on that.
Yes, sounds good.
That's so important. Good. But Sheniqua, I thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube channel, Kendell Lenice Live interview series. I thank you so much for joining me today. It means a lot to me that you took the time out to do that. I don't take that for granted.
And I just want to say thank you to you. I've watched a couple of your segments, and I just say my hat's off to you. Great. Thank you. Thank you for putting together not only a spotlight that's going to empower us, but educate us. And you're doing a great job entertaining us too. But, just thank you for setting the trend. And this is the new trend that people do need to see. So thank you for sacrificing your time, your energy, your efforts by putting on something that's going to benefit other people. And that is really selfless. I know you have other things that you needed to do for today. And I just really say thank you. Thank you for being available to all of us. So y'all subscribe to her channel, please, because she's making herself available to us. So we want to support the movement. We want to share the movement so that people see this positivity out there. It's not all It's not
Come
all
on
bad.
now.
So
Sheniqua, I'm
thank you.
taking you on the road. I'm taking you on the road, honey. But tell the people how they can connect with such a beautiful spirit like yourself. Tell them how they connect with you on social media and your websites and everything that you're doing.
All that good stuff. All right. So my website is sheniquajohnsonrn.com. That's where you get all the information about my books, my motivational speaking. I do conferences. Look, when Rona gets his life together, I'm going to be back on the road and I'll travel and do conferences. Women empowerment is my specialty. I also am on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Sheniqua Johnson RN. I'm on Instagram, and that's where you found me. I appreciate it. Sheniqua Johnson RN. If you're interested in my publishing company, Stronger Through Faith Publishing, so StrongerThroughFaith.com. And then on social media, I've got Facebook, Stronger Through Faith Publishing. I'm on Instagram, Stronger Through Faith Publishing. So if you have questions about that, and if you, let's just stay connected. If you want to get into my YouTube channel, Sisterly Sundays with Sheniqua, we're here. We're leaving
so
our
follow
mark.
her.
And
follow her.
yes, please do.
Subscribe to Sheniqua, and then you subscribe to me. 2 for 1.
Please do. That's right. That's right. And we're really just trying to get people to live their best lives. That's all we're trying to do. So I appreciate the follows, the likes, the subscriptions. I love it. And I do follow back, just in case anybody want to know.
All right now. Well, you will see Sheniqua back here on this channel, Kendell. We'll see her because she's going to be on the publishing channel, and we're going to put together a health show because I think that that's so important, especially as we're getting older and we're trying to fight our immune systems, period, no matter how old you are, because the people with the strong immune systems, let me tell you something, they may contract corona, but they're surviving. And this is something, see, I can go on and on about this, but I won't. We'll save this for the next show, but I will leave you all with this. When the corona happened initially, all toilet paper was out, all, the processed foods were out, but let me tell you, there were plenty of fruits and vegetables and vitamins, and nobody was touching. Nobody was touching. I went and got my vitamins and got what I needed. The perimeter of the store is the healthy part. All the stuff in the middle of the store, that's what people were getting. So you really got to be mindful of what you put in your body. But we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on another show. But Sheniqua, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching Shine. That's my podcast. I got so much going on. Shine with Kendell Lenice is my podcast. You can subscribe to that, too. This is live. I'm sorry. But this here, what you're watching, is my YouTube channel. And this is Kendell Lenice Live. See, my name is in everything. It's everything. You can follow me everywhere. Go to livingtrue.com to learn more about me. But again, thank you all for tuning in. And remember, you are a star, so don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Please subscribe below, like, and share. Thank you for watching. God bless.